All right. Hey, let's see. Let's see if my mic's working here and I'm coming through properly on screen. So checking live feed. Mic check. 1, 2, 3. Check. Checking live. Hey, yeah, it sounds like I'm going. You know what? God bless y'all for helping me find a better solution for my microphone, because this feels really good now. I'm trying to get the volume to exist, but not be in the way. Actually, I could probably afford to bring down the microphone a little bit here, like bring it down to. Let me shave off 10%. Maybe that'll be okay. Mic check. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's good enough. Cool. All right, cool. So it sounds like that's coming through okay. Nice. So let's see. Let's look at what's our logistics this week. Or schedule. It's not logistics. It's just a schedule, Kearney. Anyway. Hey, my name's Phil Kearney. What's up? I create role-playing games. I illustrate them, and I publish them online. And I'm creating an adventure for the Eberron campaign setting using the Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition rules, publishing on DMsGuild. Yeah, so we're doing artwork for that. When the artwork's done, we can publish the book. So, cool. I stream 10 times per week, and I wanted to go on my schedule because it's going to be a little wonky. I think today is a Monday, so normally I'd have a lunchtime stream, but I've juggled my my coworker campaign today. It typically is on Wednesdays, but it's going to be on Monday this week. So we have this morning stream, and then we won't be back until tomorrow morning. This evening. At 5:30 Seattle time till 9, we run a BECME Mega Dungeon style using Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition 2024 rules and playtesting the martial power system that I've been designing here for about, I want to say, it's been 15 months already that I've been streaming that online. So it's going to be pretty fucking cool when it's done, but we're not there yet. So give us a little time and we will. So let's see. That cleaned all that up. So yeah, so we'll be back Tuesday morning after this session here. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for. Thanks, guys. More subscribers. I really appreciate you. Like, subscribe, bell icon for notifications. Here's the full playlist of all 372 episodes. Here's my Discord community where we do playtesting and other stuff. Swing by, say hi. Here's a bunch of books that I've made. They all have free previews, so check them out. If you like them, use them. If you want me to make more, that's when you buy them. I don't make books. I don't sell books so you can read them. I make books for you to read, and after you do, if you want me to make more, you buy the book that you read. So what better way to tell me, hey, I want more of this stuff than to buy the books you want more of. So that's my philosophy. I can still hear myself, and that is bothering me to no end. So let me see if I can shift this volume just a little bit more. If I mute it, it's going to think I'm a bot. So there's this thin line that I can work between being muted and not. Come on, baby. There. Okay, we're going to have to trust in that. Maybe if I tilt the microphone down just a smidge. That's more than a smidge, Kearney. There. Let's do that. Tighten that in. Here. Cool. All right. So, hey, we're making Undead. This is a page about things happening in the campaign that you can extend beyond the adventure. So this and each column is its own complete thought. Sometimes it spans more than one column, but then you'll have, sub ideas. Like, yeah, if I can't complete the idea in one column, I find a way to make the idea big enough to warrant 2 columns of conversation. So this column is about the creatures that are unleashed as a result of the activities of the adventure. There's wandering undead, denizens of Mabar, and Yugoloth that you have to worry about. So I'm just depicting an army of a Yugoloth leading an army of undead. Seems on point because I only needed half of a column for this idea, and I didn't see a reason to expand the text. So that means that we leave a spot open at the bottom of the page, and I can then drop an illustration in, which is what we are currently building. And the book's a total of 104 pages, and there's an illustration I would say on every 3 out of 4 pages, so that's going to be a total of 74 illustrations, but luckily a lot of these are actually maps that we've already finished, so I just get to drop maps into the page and position them well, and then blend them into the page environment, and then that page is done. That takes maybe an hour, sometimes 10 minutes, depending on how intuitive it is at dropping something into its space. So this is all coming along really, really nicely. I was, let's see, where am I at here? That's full, blip, 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 blip. Here's where we're at, we're back here. I'm gonna grab whatever that thing is and whip it into shape while we talk about stuff. Got my game prep for today's playtesting done. The team invaded the initial rooms of a recently exposed temple that is the front door of a mega dungeon that they'll be running from level 1 to 10 over the course of the next 5 months. Sorry, not level 3 to 10. They need 6,400 experience points to go from level 3 to 4. And using the Beckme style of experience, the amount of experience points you get is equal to the amount of gold that you throw away when you leave the dungeon. So you take a bunch of treasure with you out of the dungeon, you go back to town, and then you just disintegrate it. Narratively, you're spending it on partying and carousing and politicking, and you're just blowing the cash just to have experiences and enriching the community. That endears the community to you, which eventually converts into you being granted a deed to have dominion over a territory in the near to the community that you've already been benefiting. So there's a real natural progression in the old school Beckme style of moving from dungeons into dominion, which D&D is now, which 5e is calling bastions. So the bastions, as it were, used to be a reward for gaining levels, because those levels represent, I've dumped like 20,000, 30,000 gold into your community since the rise of my character. So like I'm a major influencer in the game. in that small space, at least, wherever it is that I've gone and dumped gold, like I have a narrative reason for being influential there. So rewarding the characters with territory at that point is pretty intuitive. But as a result, the point is that gold was used to build your reputation and value in the campaign world. So you wanted to go into the dungeon where you could get basically morally correct money by going in and killing monsters that would end up, eating babies if we don't do something about them being present. You're protecting the world from threat. It's guilt-free money. If you can get it from the monsters, there you go. And so that became the core of what Dungeons and Dragons initially was. Morally unambiguous evil being destroyed to justify collecting treasure. And just these monsters would just naturally accumulate treasure. It's what the dungeon as an entity itself would do to entice heroes to enter its domain, to get killed and eliminated from being able to help humanity or whatever after their demise. So the dungeon was actively trying to kill you, and it's almost like it's spawning those monsters as an expression of its hate to you that it can then send out into the world to attack life. And so that's the old school dungeons. So the team is using that stuff. You extract the gold from the dungeon, and whatever the gold value of the treasure is, whether it's magic items, artwork, gems, or just raw coin, whatever the accumulated XP value of that treasure is, you keep as much of it as you want to purchase equipment and whatever services or whatever for your characters. But when you want to gain experience points, you throw it away. So you don't want to just, they need 6,400, they need 1,800 experience points per character. 4-character average equals 6,400 experience points needed to get from 3rd to 4th level. So if I only provide if they only extract 6,400 gold pieces worth of treasure from the dungeon,
then they gain a level, but they've done nothing for their loot. And the team will be able to decide for themselves how equipment heavy do they want to be able to equip themselves, and thus delay them getting a level as they go through the dungeon. When they eliminate threats and they leave for like a long rest, you got to get out of the dungeon and take a long rest. So that sets the tempo of the day. Every dungeon crawl ends with a long rest, with the team leaving, and then when we know who's playing shows up, we then delve back into the dungeon and make additional progress. The team is still trying to secure the first zone of the dungeon, and once they secure the zone, they'll have the option of keeping that locked down, so they can use it to advance further and further into the dungeon. I'm breaking the dungeon basically into 10-room zones, and as they go, like every 2 to 4 zones is another level, either dropping vertically or expanding horizontally away from the front door or the stairway that led down. It's the further you sprawl from your entry point, the higher the level it becomes. So when you cross into a new zone, you're basically, there's going to be either a change in elevation or motif. Like it might be a temple here, but as you move in, it might become an apothecary. And then through there, or like maybe a temple to dungeon to apothecary, to maybe like mushroom caverns, etc., etc., etc. It just continues to swap motifs, and if you can have a change of environment that kind of builds a loose narrative of intent for the rooms as you move through them, then you have this this emergent story that comes through as a result of how the monsters and the characters are interacting with the environment that they're inside of. And so the old school dungeon crawling can be really interesting if you allow opportunities to like form alliances, make agreements, negotiate for wealth that you don't necessarily want to have to fight for, because in the Beckney system, you don't get experience points for fighting monsters and surviving encounters. It's just gold. So if you can find a way to circumvent combat, that's the social interaction pillar at work, or potentially the exploration pillar at work instead of combat, to be rewarded in gold. And that's good role playing. That's good gaming, having a mix of what you need to do, and letting when there's no power reward for combat, the players are more open to exploring other options if they feel they can gain a benefit without necessarily having to kill something, because killing something literally does nothing for them other than eliminating the threat. It doesn't get them any closer to the level. So if they can achieve it, the level gains from gold. So if they can get the gold, I'm not liking this guy's posture like at all. So I've got this tilt going on here. I need to have more of a tilt like this for this character here, so I can keep the perspective bending around the Yugoloth. So I need to have this warbliness to them, so I can have them off angles and be okay with them being at weird angles. Like I want this guy's basically body like this. There, I like this immediately better. And now I have to do something to compensate its swag. So we're gonna put an arm out like this, so that I can eat up some space in the composition. That looks good. Too crooked. Let's do that. Nice. So that's going along really well. I'm really excited about the campaign. I'm having a lot of fun. I haven't ran a Mugga dungeon literally in years. And I've ran like little, spot throughout level 1 to 20. I've ran various location themed dungeons, of course, like little, environments for the characters to fuck around in. But like this, like Mega Dungeon is its own campaign. Like this is the campaign. Going through that thing, pushing your way down into the earth to dig up bigger monsters, bigger loot. It's its own style of play, man. And it's been replaced with the Dungeons and Dragons amusement park ride, where your characters basically slalom down planned events to react to in character, and maybe there's a risk to your character, maybe it's a false risk where there's a reason to like NPCs save your characters' lives from themselves if they get off the rail. Very controlled adventures. And very, very much so, like you spend a lot of time building this character. We want to make sure that you don't lose it. And I'm critical of that style of play because I don't think it doesn't do a good job, I think, teaching like how to play. It's having a procedural style. Like the dungeon, if anything, creates a very controlled environment that doesn't need rails. All you need to do is be able to know what's in each room, what each monster is around, what their motives are, and how they would respond to having characters show up. Once you can suss those things out, you're pretty much good to go. Just run the program as prepared, and that's a really good way to train DMs to build their own dungeons and eventually to move out of the dungeon into the larger environment, which the original Beckme style was really good at teaching. Honestly, it was really good at it because the dungeon, you had 3 levels to screw around with dungeons, and by the time your characters are level 4 plus, you can start looking at wilderness adventure because you're a high enough level character to be able to take a hit or two. So being out in the big world where anything can come at you is good. And then once you got through that, at the tail end of that, you learned how to create your own stronghold. And since you now know how to hex crawl around the environment, you can hex crawl around the domain that you now have as a means of securing your borders, creating adventures while having things enter your territory unwanted and having to resolve them. That leans you into the companion style of play of the Beckme formula, which is learning how to command an army so that you can combat these enemy forces coming into your territory. And when you get to the master tier of play, you're getting into largely planar travel. Whether you're bringing companions with you or not, you still have your domain back at home, but you're venturing into the alternate planes of reality in search of godhood. And by the time you get to the immortal part of the Beckme equation, you have found a path to immortality, and you execute that plan, become a demigod, and start competing at higher levels of existence with other gods. So that's the Beckme that's the Beckme procedure. And it's running D&D from level 1 to 20 executes all that really well. You do not need to get past level 20 in D&D. By the time you get to that point, you can have patron gods or like the ability to wish, etc. You can alter reality and basically become a demigod and shift yourself out, retire the campaign as an immortal character or other sort of influential being. It still feels like that head is too big. If I can bring that down just a bit, that'd be great. Thank you. I think I need to make this a little bit smaller. So the characters, the 4 of them, they need 6,400 experience points with a treasure to pull out of the dungeon. And they've got about 350 so far. They've ganked a mana stone, some healing potions, and a magic sword off of a slew of orcs and Etten that they had killed. So Yeah, there you go. Looting bodies, it matters because they carry treasure and they can either consume those magic items to help push further and or survive encounters easier, but if they don't take it back and sell it, then they don't gain any experience points because they drank the thing. So, or they use the scroll, or they crush the stone to get the mana out of it, whatever. So loading up the team with consumable magic items is a great way to get that gold threshold quickly without overburdening them and giving them an immediate choice. Like, is this something that we want, like, as a resource we can immediately use, but we can only use it once, and when we do, it's no longer treasure. We now have to push further into the dungeon to get enough treasure we don't want to consume to gain a level. So they're eventually going to be pushing into 4th level content, whether they're 4th level or not, and it's going to get tough. So what would end up happening is they would have to retreat from the dungeon and allow it time to regenerate itself, so they potentially have 3rd level threats reintroduced to parts of the dungeon. So they have to basically retreat to a previous point, let it heal, let the dungeon heal, quote unquote, and once it's been repopulated, it'll be the appropriate level that they need, level 3 in this instance, and they can reapproach it and eventually get the wealth that they need to move forward. But as you go, so the thing is that as you go into higher level dungeons, you're still the treasure that you get is larger as well. So like you only need to get like a third of the encounter, like 2/3 of the encounters needed at 4th level from 3rd level to have the proper amount of threats for the amount of gold that you can extract. So you gain treasure quicker at lower levels, so you need to delve less into that lower level space to gain the level and catch up. So why am I having such a hell of a time with this? Here to here. Here to here. Sometimes I'm just not in the fucking zone at all. There, finally, I'm getting some posture. God. Where have you been, Kearney? He just showed up. There, now, okay, great. See, now I've got that chest and that arm angle correct. That's what I was struggling with, is getting that tilt. But we've got it now, so that feels good. Arm here, thicken that up just a smidge. Go here. Like that. Maybe not so much like that. Let's see. Hip. Hip. Drop that leg down here. Hey, what's up? Hey, Steve. Welcome to it, my man. What is it, 7 o'clock? Cool. I've still got an hour.
Yeah, we're doing great. We got like 50 some odd minutes left. I'll figure out this fucking body. And we can raise this arm up a bit here. And then here. That's feeling about right. Yeah, I can rot this down a little bit. Tilting heads is good. A tilted head lets you know that something's gone wrong, so you can more easily at a glance tell that these things are monsters because their heads aren't doing right. Here, let's give you like a real tilt. No doubt, this guy, he's wrong. Ooh, that's neat. Because it's kind of I did not expect to feel this. Hold on. I'm having a complete shift in its posture. Twisting its hips. Get out of there. Here like that. If I have him sidelong, that's going to be a less awkward of a pose. I can shift his shoulders down like this. Keep moving his spine, his posture around in the image here. It's not locking into a specific pose yet. It's really interesting how it just won't settle. Hips here. If I tilt those forward a touch here like that. Here and then down here like that. The arm comes out awkwardly here, but it's behind allies, so I don't need to define it so much. Grab this head and tilt it forward a bit. Nah, that doesn't feel right at all. Let's go back there. Break that out. That feels right. Steve, how you doing today? I just ended like maybe a 30-minute rant about BECME gameplay and how the playtest is coming along. Because we're doing our next session tonight. Oh, that's right. Yeah. So they at the end of each session they retreat from the dungeon and take a long rest in the forest, so that they aren't actually inside the dungeon trying to take a rest and getting interrupted. So they can short rest in the dungeon if they want, but if they want a long rest, they leave, and then they can change guard. And whoever shows up, we end the session with a long rest, so everyone always comes in fresh, even if new players that swap out, like, because we aren't necessarily going to have the same people playing each time. Depends on who's available, who shows up. So structuring it so that the team leaves. I am losing that angle again. It's shifting. It's his shoulders are shifting back. I need them to shift forward so that it's opened like this, tilting towards, not away. Like if you tilt your chest away from the camera like this, it enlarges and emboldens the character. Their chest comes out. like literally puffing up their chest, that's the kind of back tilt you get away from the camera. But if you lean in towards the camera, you kind of collapse on yourself a little bit, and it feels more sinister by nature. Like characters that collapse in on themselves are generally more bestial, animalistic, feral, base. So like the only time you really see, like for instance, characters tilting the top of their body, hunching forward towards the camera, is if they're like a shifter, werewolf, guru, bestial type character that would take on that savage stance, as it were. But monsters often default with it. Again, it's the posture is shorthand. So I can get that tilt up in here. I can't believe how much difficulty I'm having with this. It's just a fucking horde of undead, man. It's not like it's difficult. It's just a fucking horde of undead. Maybe I need a sip of coffee. But this is the challenge that I faced today, so. We deal with the challenges of the day. I think the problem right now is that I'm giving it too much stability. Undead are kind of lurchy and often, especially like zombies and stuff like that, they have that kind of haphazard shuffle. They're not really in full control of their faculties. All right, I'm just gonna fucking. I saw the new Beetlejuice movie on stream over the weekend, and I was a fan of the first one. I was in my teens when the first one came out, and this one was a large dose of nostalgia. The B plot was really frivolous. But overall, I enjoyed it. I like the shrunken head characters; they're fun. The wackiness was there. The story was good enough, so I recommend it. I'd give it a 7 out of 10. They did the job they were assigned to do. They did it well enough, and it was entertaining. So hats off to Burton. Oh, I like that. That feels cool. Hip here. I can have the knees kind of buckle together, and then there we go. So yeah, I'll be back. I'm only streaming this morning today. I'll be back tomorrow morning to continue streaming. We'll have lunchtime tomorrow as well, and maybe we'll either work on probably either work on Bastions or Spelljammer subclasses. I haven't really decided yet. Probably Spelljammer subclasses. I like how those are coming along. I was reviewing the Spelljammer combat and exploration document that we created. And I don't think there's a lot of things I need to change or update for 2024. When we were building it out, we had already used, like, for example, grappling already is a saving throw as opposed to an opposed check. We do need to adjust the healing, the rate of healing. I also need to look at spells because some of those have changed, so we need to reconsider the spellcasting chapter. But otherwise, it seems to have survived most of the experience. There we go. What the fuck? I'm like, what is going on? Merge down like that. That's good. See if I can get that tilt. What's the healthiest angle here to work with this one? Here, I think it's probably the most synchronized. Here. There we go. Okay, great. So we can tilt the arm back. Hips, rib cage, spine. We'll figure out fleshy bits in a bit. There. Clavicles across the body. There. I've got. See, I'm starting to get that. I'm starting to get that curve again to the body, where it's moving away from the camera into that heroic stance. I keep doing that. It keeps tilting. It's so, God, it's just, why am I doing that? It's so weird. There. There, that's starting to feel better. Amazon Secret Levels, pretty cool. I've liked all the stories. So far, I think there's 6 episodes out so far. I enjoyed all of them thoroughly over the weekend as my Sunday morning cartoons. There we go. Tilt away. He's got a sassy pose. Expecting him to have jazz hands. He's got that crook to the hips. That's so funny. Let's see if I can do something about that. It feels weird. Let's take the skew and push it, and now we can free transform and give it a twist. we go. Shunt. Elbow, bottom of the ribs. It's normal human physics. Arm, sway out here. Sway out. Bring that hip in here. Hip in here. Legs. So I somehow I still have that tilt with it tilting back again. I keep doing that. How can I drop that? And here I am again, fucking around with it. Not content. That's tilting away from the camera. How? How do I? I'm apparently hitting a paradigm wall here in my design philosophies where I'm having I think my problem is that I have, like, quote unquote, one way to, like, I don't have enough diversity in posing to be able to shift myself. Fuck. I can't get myself out of that angle. It's so fucking rude. There, and good. Let's grab. I'll figure it out. It's just it's so interesting. Like, I did not expect to run into this kind of a wall today. I mean, here we are. So we deal with the problem that we have for the day. I was like, yeah, we'll log in. We'll just do some undead. It'll be super casual. It'll be fun. I'm like, no. Now it's the struggle of my life. So what I need to do is bring the head down lower, maybe, so I can get it off of the same line, so I can mess around with this posture. Here, let's drop that down real quick so we can re-look at that skeleton. Pardon the pun. Skeleton here. We're going down here through the body now, curving around. Hips here. If I have too much of a curve, it's going to feel coiled. So I can't have it too curved. I want a little bit off balance, so it lurches forward here. I put the frame through here. I put the ball joint here. I put the ball joint here. The arms come forward. Here's where your elbows are at with the rib cage here. Bending the hips. Ball joints back in. Rib cage here. Curve of the body here. Hips triangle here. Leg joints tilt in. Slight the frame. There's no muscle to expand. Make it smaller. There we go. I think this is going to end up working out. Arms in place. There we go. Yeah, it's gonna work out. Let's expand those. There we go. Hey, we figured it out. Let's just drop these down a bit. Stretch that out of here. That looks good. There we go. Ha ha ha. Got to mind my angles here on these legs over the hips overlapping. There, here. And yeah, it's starting to feel better. Hip bone here, that's good. Get the socket with the thigh bone here, that's good. Shorten it to here. Elbow, knee joint is here. Cross over, knee joint. Oy vey. Free transform, tilt it a bit more. I don't have... Okay, yeah, that feels better. Good. I needed to get that angle changed because it was too symmetrical with the one in front, and I can make this part of the body. Oops! I can make this part just a little bit bigger. Free transform. Pull it down a touch. Push it back a bit. There, and then here. Back a bit. Yeah, it's incomplete, but I'm cool with it. It's the best it's the best I've gotten out of this so far. So I'm just gonna let it be. Let's see if I can drop something else to help anchor it. I gotta be careful because, oops, that's not where I want to be. Because I don't necessarily want to have full body poses on these guys. Like I'm already at a threat of having the like being out here having feet and stuff. Like this is about where I'm getting to over here. I'm already pushing it with this guy here. He's already pushing it. Almost a full body gesture, but I don't want full bodies on these because I don't think that's going to strengthen the composition. So I have to be mindful of the angles, and I need to have a smoke effect, kind of blurring out the lower parts of the legs. But I have to get the curve of, like, the camera's kind of like got a fishbowl effect going where it's pulling forward the undead at this front corner here, and it's kind of curving the camera back away from them to create artificial distance. And the warp is playing along the ground as well, so the ground is curving like this. Well, not that drastically, but more like this. That's kind of how the ground is curving right now, and it's curving at a different rate than we have like here. Nah, get that angle right, Kearney. It's more like that, and so this should be curving like it should be curving out about here to here to here. That's our bubble effect that we've basically got going on here. It'd be more like this. Anyway, that's that. So you have like this center point here that everything is curving away from, like that, roughly. And so I'm trying to ride that curve around with the perspective to help create more energy with this shambling horde. while simultaneously not forcing me to do, again, the full body head to toe for each of these undead. So I need to figure out how to press them together without having to show off the entire frame. So that would be like fog on the ground. How are we doing? I still got 20 minutes. Good enough. Like we'll end up having like a fog effect like this. To help cut off the feet a little bit, you know, so I don't have to worry about below the knees so much. Just have this curve around a little bit here, so that'll end up being a really good looking effect. So I can see how that, like that haziness effect where they're coming out of the haze, that's going to work really well, especially like over here. We have like haze over here impacting them, fuzzing out this edge here. So that effect is going to work really well when we get to it. Like this dude could probably afford to be a little smaller. Fucking around with angles here real quick, don't mind me. Yeah, this is all going to work out just fine. Black and white. And drop this back down again. So we were successful in formatting the second half of the first part. There's 3 parts of the adventure and appendices. So there's technically like 4 sections of the adventure that need to be resolved. We have about 2/3 of the appendices done. I actually have to wait for the Monster Manual 2024 to be released to see how they change monsters for us to update accordingly. And so far, I'm finding with the Beckme system that the 3rd edition, the 3rd level balance with the encounter math, like how much CR per encounter, how much experience points, blah blah blah. That's all that the encounter calculators. That's what it's called. The encounter calculator, from what I can tell in the Beckme, is working well. So I have a lot of confidence that the Monster Manual, as long as monsters don't get easier in Monster Manual 2024, we should have no difficulty updating the monsters. For like all the monsters that we have in here are like, how to put it. I'm happy with the monsters that we have in this book that are new and unique. We just need to see the formatting for 2024 monsters in general to make sure that we format it correctly, and then we'll have that part of the appendix done. That's what I was trying to say. Let's take this and drop it back a little bit further. Shield on this one.
Yeah, lazy grip on a sword here. Yeah, I do want to have another one with a shield, so this is a good spot for that, I think. Was this a good spot for that? Hold on. Transform, make this a bit bigger. Good enough. So I can de-equip you. And you here like that. Give him a bit of a lurch. I'll take a sip of water here. Hips here. There. There. What do I do about you, huh? Push you forward? Is that what we do? And then give you a leg forward. There we go. That'll work. There. So far, so good. More of a tilt here. Da, 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 da.
Yeah, okay.
And let's see. Do I want to have this one? Yeah. Tilting up a bit. That feels good. There. I think these are packed together enough to be able to pull that off. That's a good angle there.
A little tight. There, that feels good. Okay, cool. So that I like that curve along that line there.
I think I can have another one here. See, they're starting to bunch up on each other because of the foreshortening of the angle. That's what I want. I want an arm. I want a wall of limbs over here reaching forward. It's kind of the intent. See, now I'm not having a problem with finding that angle at all over here. See, I've got that low crook, that lean forward effect going now. I was having so much trouble finding that over here. And it just like, here it is. It's easy peasy. It's just something about where it's at on the angle of the camera inside the composition, and it's like, yeah, this is okay. It's so weird.
Grab the entire structure, pull it away from the artifacts a little bit. Get over here, hug this corner a little bit more. Good. Can't have you crowding the artifacts. So we can drop down the size of this guy here in the background. I think I need to have these two drop down just a smidge and have you there. That's getting that curve going. And then these two need to drop down. And this one needs to rise up. This one needs to drop down a bit more. Yeah. There, that wall feels good. I know they're all still sloppy, but it feels much better now. Let's get. We're gonna label this front line. And now we start building the second line.
give him a shield too, so they feel similar. Get that, yeah, we got a shield going in over here, so we've got some consistency of shields versus shamblers. Because a lot of these are soldiers that rose up, so them being there with their shields doesn't seem unreasonable. I don't know what Karnathi practice actually is, but I'm into that. So. And having a lightning mist that blends into the page will help reinforce a lighter fogging of the second and then third line, like fading out. While the Yugoloth can still have bold coloring because it's rising above the mist. So that should work out. I just got to get these heads in here. This is probably where we're going to stop for the day. So when we come back, we'll figure out the Yugoloth, get him locked down. Yeah, this is how this is turning out. Here. Back line. That should be 100%. This should be faded. Thank you. Yeah, that should be fine. There we go. Thank you, Thomas. What is it? It's okay, great. So I gotta bounce out of here in a minute. Pose. This will be a cool piece when it's done. I am looking forward to it. Here. Yeah, that all feels pretty good. Drop him down here just a smidge. And we can grab the whole thing. Bring it up a touch.
I need to take him off center. He was too centered. It makes for a boring composition. But if I have him off angle a little bit, A, it'll help match the frame of the text around him a little bit easier. But B, I can expand on the undead, stretching out this way a little bit more as well, fading out into the mist. All right, it's still sloppy, but I'm liking the composition. I like how it's sitting. I think this is going to end up being a really, really cool piece when it's done, so I'm looking forward to it. Let's see. There's that, and let's take this and bring it down. This one. There. Yeah, this will be a really cool composition when it's done. Cool. Okay, great. So that's it for now. I'll be back tomorrow morning, and then I'll be back tomorrow at lunch as well. Wednesday morning, Wednesday lunch. Since we don't get to do lunchtime today, we'll do lunchtime on Wednesday instead. And then Thursday morning, Thursday night, Friday morning, Friday lunch, Saturday, and then that'll be the 23rd. I have the 23rd off for dentist, so I'll have a long session in the morning. I'll do dentist stuff. I'll come back for a lunch, an afternoon stream on Monday. And then Tuesday morning, Tuesday lunch. Wednesday is going to be Christmas, so I won't be on Wednesday. But Thursday morning, I have Thursday, Friday, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off the following week. So I should have a lot of stream time on Thursday and Friday, and then Monday, Tuesday. I think Wednesday is the 1st. Is that right? Yeah, so I'll have all of Thursday and Friday. I'll have all of Monday and Tuesday, and then I'll be back at work on Monday. So 23rd, 26th, 27th, 30, and 31. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days that I'll be working this full time. So, all right, that's it for now, guys. I will see you all tomorrow. I really appreciate you. Thanks a lot for being here. Cheers.